Hey, this is Bob from Wham's Tech, and today we're going to take a look at some updates to Formative, and you're really going to enjoy these. And these are some been long requested features in Formative, and hopefully you can use these to your advantage moving forward. So I'm going to create a new Formative here and just show you the top 3 features. So the top 3 new features in Formative have to do with video, as well as your free response. So if I dive into video here, we see we can add a YouTube, Vimeo, Google video. So this is like something from our Google Drive, or we could record a video on the fly here, which is also kind of nice, or record our screen as well. So we can actually record our screen, we can go to our presentation, let's say, and cycle through our presentation, and then that could be saved as a video moving forward. So if I select a YouTube video here, I can just paste in a YouTube video and hit add video. Okay, and you'll see immediately after adding a video that you now have this ability to add items at specific times in the video, similar to Edpuzzle. Now, this is not as sophisticated as Edpuzzle, and you can't save these necessarily moving forward. So if you wanted to reuse this question, let's say in a later Formative for a different year, you'll have to just know where this video belongs to which Formative and then pull it from your library next year. We can't like save these externally, let's say, but this is kind of nice as an alternative to Edpuzzle right within your Formative here. Now, the one thing I did notice is that when you're using YouTube videos, you kind of have to refresh the screen a couple of times. I think because the feature is just so brand new that the playhead, in order to select which questions you want and when, doesn't always appear right away. You have to like let the YouTube video kind of load and marinate a little bit within the Formative before you're able to actually use the feature. So if I give this a refresh, what we're looking for here is like a playhead. So if I select this add item at 0, you see I can then have access to any of the questions or just content. So for example, at minute 1, if I wanted to add an image that the users or that my students will see at some point, we can do that, or they can actually have to answer a question at a certain point. But you see I can't like scroll ahead to where I want it. Like even if I play the video, right? It still says at 0, 0, and that's because we haven't let this video kind of sit within Formative quite yet. So we'll come back to this one in just a minute. Other videos do work pretty readily. So for example, if I come to video and I record, or if, I don't know, I'll record my video here real fast. Allow, probably get some double microphone things happening here, but that's okay. All right, so I'm going to record. It's now recording me. I have 2 minutes to record my video. Blah, 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 blah. Here I'm recording. I hit stop. It processes, and then I can submit it. And again, this also works very well when you're recording your screen. So if you wanted to share your screen with instruction sets on how to do something or show a process, you can do that as well for your students. All right, so add a video, and you see immediately here I have my playhead. Right, so I can select where I want those questions and when here. And this playhead will eventually show up for my YouTube videos as well, as long as I keep refreshing my screen. I just got to give it some time from what I've found. Okay, so the way that this works is that now I can start adding content to my video. So let's say at 1 second, I want to add a true-false question. I just type in a true-false. So, select true. Right, at 4 seconds, I want them to just see an image. I want them to see an image of a frog. Right, so at 4 seconds, this image will pop up. And at the end of my video, I want to do a resequence or a categorization question here, let's say. Okay. All right, so how this looks to the students is as such, right? So when they play the video, right, when they get to that marker, that's when that question appears. And if they keep on playing, you'll see the next question appears, and lastly, that last question will appear. Right? So it doesn't, unlike Edpuzzle, it doesn't automatically pause when it gets to that question. I think that'd be a really nice feature at some point for Formative to add. So the student will just have to pause the video in order to answer the question. But again, this is a nice alternative to Edpuzzle in order to bake this types of questions right into Formative. All right, let's see if our YouTube video has finished marinating. Nope, not yet. Yeah, at some point it will. Okay, so the next feature I wanted to show you is Rubrics. So now you can actually score your free responses or show your works based off of a rubric. This is really going to be awesome for definitely objective learning and not something subjective, right? So here I can choose a free response question, and I'll say something like, tell me about your summer. And then we can now add a rubric. So if I select Use Rubric here, I can now add a rubric, and it gives me the option to add multiple criterions to name this rubric. So this is a free response summer rubric. So I can add multiple criterions, and I can add multiple levels within those criterions. So what I love about this is how easy it is to create a rubric, right? So you can, on prose, spelling, and I don't know, content or something, right? And then I'm sure you're already grading a rubric paper pencil, so now you just put in those values here, hit check, and now you have this rubric that you can grade the assignment. And so how this will work on your end is you'll just click boxes, and it'll automatically calculate a score for the students. Now, if you want to reuse this rubric again in a different formative, let's say, you'll just have to again remember which formative you've already used it and which question. The only way to reuse rubrics is through the library mode at this point. So if I wanted to reuse this, I would have to add from my library. I know right now I'm in formative 63. So I'll choose formative 63, right? Here's that summer. I'll add that question, which already has that rubric attached to it. And then I'll just change the type of question it is. So I could change it to a show your work. It did remember how many points it was out of. But no, I have to start from scratch again. So I wonder if I do this, if I make it out of 3 points. Okay, it does change the overall score to 3 points here at least. So something to keep in mind. Unfortunately, you can't reuse rubrics too efficiently quite yet, but at least the feature is there now for one-off assignments or one-off tests and things of that nature. All right, I've waited long enough, and now we can see that the playhead is here for the YouTube video. Sometimes it might just take maybe to back out of the formative altogether and then go back into it, and that seems to be when the playhead appears. So now I can scroll through my YouTube video and then add those questions at those certain times. Really excited for you to try these new features in Formative. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment below or email me at robert.petito@woodward.edu. And as always, thanks for watching.